Hello Capricorn, thank you for tuning into your love read. For the main read, I'm using the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. I hope you can see that. There you go. For the supportive cards, the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Alright, now, where are we going? Okay, Capricorn. I don't know if we're going to pull the bottom one. I don't know, I'm getting a weird feel with this one, because I feel like we just need the bottom one with this one. Alright, so it's up to you with this situation. Alright, let's find out what's going on. Because I feel like it's up to you, literally up to you. Now they're saying that. And I feel like where we need to start is a spiritual spot. Spiritually, your partner seems like they're stuck and they can't go left or right. They don't feel like they can move. They're very stubborn. I'm getting a stubborn energy. You are fighting to keep the situation alive. You seem a little panicked. Now it's weird because I don't see your partner going anywhere, but you seem like your side seems to like you have to fight for something. So let's not jump to conclusions. Let's see what's going on here because I'm not really sure where we're going, but I am seeing stability in your future here. Now the Nine of Pentacles, it's a stable card, but it might be a question whether, like, where you are, if you want to be where you are. With this card, that's kind of how I look at that woman when she's looking at the squirrel there. She's like, she likes the squirrel and she likes where she is, but she's feeling kind of pent up a little bit. And that might be how you're feeling. Even though you're a Capricorn, and Capricorns like stability, and you're feeling stable here, but you're starting to wonder, you know, is this all it's cracked up to be? This card, I feel like, is going to have a double meaning as we go forward. So that's kind of stating where you're ending up, but also it's going to be your reaction, I feel like, to what's going on with your partner. So let's keep going. What's holding the situation where it is? Your partner seems a little defensive. And I also get that they're defensive, but I'm also getting like another card that's kind of reiterating that they're kind of feeling kind of boxed in, kind of feeling like they have to be where they are. They're feeling defensive and like they have no chance for movement, lateral or otherwise. You are in the position where you're trying to show options. I feel like you're trying to teach your partner something or explain something to them, and you're trying to smooth out the rough edges. Now, the Three of Pentacles is typically a card where you're working on something. It can be very much a learning card. I mean, clearly, if you'll get to see it on there, it can be about teaching somebody, learning something, one of the two, something like, or down those roads anyway. But I feel like you're explaining and you're going through and which is kind of teaching. You're explaining how something is working out. You're trying to buff out the rough edges. You're trying to bring clarity to a situation, and you're working on it. There you go. So we got that going on there, but they're feeling boxed in, like there's nothing they can do. I still feel like you're trying to push forward, like you're trying to explain things like there is something you can do, and they're just like, no, I'm where I am, and that's where it is. Stubborn. I'm getting a very stubborn feel here. You're showing possibility. They're just like, that's hogwash. That's not true. And you're like, but it is true, and this is why. Nope. I'm getting that. Like, this is the initial reaction. This is kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem. Like, they're just... But it's coming... I feel like that's coming from a place of fear. Especially when I'm looking at this card here. The Eight of Swords. You see the fire behind that person? Like, it's like a fear thing. I feel like it's a fear thing. They're not seeing possibility. They're having a stubborn moment, but it's out of fear. But you're showing a lot... I feel like you're making sense. Your partner is living in fear. That's kind of what I'm getting. Feeling boxed in, kind of like strangling themselves. This kind of seems like their whole thing. This. Now the Five of Swords, they will protect their position. They need to let go of this. Okay. There's a protective energy here that I feel like you need to know about. So you might get pushback, and they might get a little bit verbal about it, like they cannot do anything, and this is how it is, and I feel like you have to wait it out. I don't feel like you're backing down. I don't feel that. I feel like you have to wait it out. And you have to slowly go at it and keep pushing and keep pushing. Because, interestingly enough, what happens is they seem to accept this, the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is somebody who's stuck. And they know that they're in transition and they can't stop the transition. So this seems to be moving from cards where they can't do anything, they're adamant that there's nothing that can be done, there's nothing they can do to change the circumstances, they seem very defensive about that. But what helps is they're in transition, and they seem to be aware of it, and you are the catalyst for that. You have the King of Wands on your side, you're pushing this forward. You're moving things forward, you're moving the situation forward. The Hanged Man on their side is explaining where this change is happening. They're going from day to night, night to day, whichever it's going. Day to night, maybe. It's the ending of the situation. It's moving on from this, moving forward, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. All this is going on around them, and they're going to have to come out of this, like this person in this, whatever you want to call this thing they're in, being bound up like that. Can't live that way. If you're going to be bound up like that, you can only survive so long before you just either have to get out or you die. One of the two. Not to be overly morbid, but that's kind of what that looks like to me. Like, you can't live there. You can't live like that. It's just not possible. And you're pushing them forward. You're pushing it forward. But they're going forward based on what you're telling them they have to do. I feel like you have to take this. And you're making this movement. You got the Three of Wands on your side. They have the Two of Pentacles on their side. I feel like you're pushing them forward. I literally feel like you're pushing them forward. You're pushing the situation forward. It has to start. You have to move. You gotta go. Gotta do this. And it kind of throws them up a little bit, and they have to juggle things around, but it is moving the situation forward. So you do get it moving. You do. I find this interesting because the way these cards are matching up are a little bit, some of them are a little off. They're not direct matches, but that's fine. You have on their side, now they have the King of Cups, not the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and you have, this is where your Nine of Pentacles comes back again. Once you kick them into motion and you get them going, you're moving them. This is like the Hanged Man happens first, that's what helps. And then it moves into this arena where, you know, they're happy, they're singing your praises almost. And I feel like you're kind of like, really? Like, now? Like, I have to do all this and fight with you constantly, and now you're finally kicking into gear, and you see that I was right? I knew that I was right. I don't know why you had to be such a pain in my butt about it. Like, I almost feel like you're a little bit, you might be a little disgusted at this point. A little bit. Only because it took so much. And it's better now, and it's like, you know, if my partner was just on board with me and just listened to me a little more, it didn't have to be this rough. Especially when they were in this state of not listening and just like they're sticking in the same rut out of fear, that was stressful for you because you knew you were going to have to kick him in the butt sooner or later, and you didn't want to do that, and you were getting kind of a little agitated with it. And I feel like this might be a pattern you play out with your partner, depending on how it's hitting for you. Some of you, yes, some of you, no. I feel like for the most of you, though, the way this is hitting is like you're thinking you're going to have to go through this again in the future. Like, you're seeing this come around again. And that's pretty much where this is coming in, where you're just kind of like, ugh. And you're trying to think of it. I feel like you're trying to audit in a way like, how do I set this up so that the next time this comes around this way, it's not such a pain in the butt. Like, you know, you're trying to like set it up for the future where it's not such a chore. At least not to the level it was this time. Correct? Now, how is it's up to you coming through? Because this was your advice. No need to. It's up to you. I just noticed this card popped out too, which is no need to worry, because it seems like things are going to work out for you. What's this talking about with it's up to you, though? You're the initiator. You're planning for the future. I feel like it's looking... This is interesting. Six of Cups is going into the future in the sense of like you're going to be looking back at this situation. It's saying you're going to be looking back at this situation as a history of how this person works, how your partner works. So it seems like it's validating that you're going to have to go through this again at some point in the future, and you need to set up this. You need to set things up on the regular to keep things in check now, so it doesn't become a situation at this level. Whatever it was that had your partner in this protective fear mode where they couldn't do anything and they felt powerless. It's kind of what I'm seeing here. I feel like you can see this coming, and due to this situation, I feel like you can review it or audit it and see like the warning signs that it was coming. You might have known it was coming the whole time. But I feel like the way you're looking at this is next time this starts, you're not going to wait. You're not going to be more relaxed about it. You're going to start, actively pushing it forward as soon as signs start showing up. You're going to start actively pushing that forward because you're not into going into this type of ridiculousness again. That's kind of how I feel. Like you're feeling like this didn't have to be this bad. And if your partner just had gotten on board earlier, but you're kind of like taking ownership of it. When I see these things coming again, I'm going to start moving it forward. As soon as I start seeing signs, I'm going to get involved and start moving this ahead because I'm not going to just have to, bum rush this or whatever you had to do to get this person going. You're not going to wait and try to give them a chance to handle it. You're going to start handling it in the beginning because you don't want to go through this again. Not to this level, at the very least. Correct? All right. I feel like that's what this whole thing's about. And that's the it's up to you. That's the it's up to you part of this. Because you don't have to do that. You can just kind of like walk away from it and just be annoyed with it. And then it could play out the same way it did again. I feel like the advice here is to audit the situation and just to like take control of it as soon as it starts happening again for your own happiness. That way it doesn't come to a head like this again. And it'll just be easier. Even though your partner should be the one, it feels like your partner should be the one taking the initiative, taking care of certain things. I feel like once you see it, to make it easier on yourself, you're just going to start pushing right in the beginning. All right. Good? Good. Let's do Capricorn singles and see what we have for them. I've noticed, it seems like to me anyway, that my relationship reads seem like they're a bit long lately. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like I've got one more element to do besides Earth. But it seems like the majority of them have been pretty long reads. I don't know why that is. Alright, so Capricorn singles. Empowering information for Capricorn singles, helping them move forward in a way that empowers them and helps them find what they want out of life. Okay. Now, I was already, even before I started putting those cards out, I was feeling that this is going to call for a couple of these. I don't feel like there's a lot of bad information here. I just feel like there could be a better way for you to move through this, an easier way for you to move through this, because it seems like you're kind of dealing with the stubborn energy of your own, interestingly enough. I mean, that's interesting. Okay, so you're standing in a position where you're happy. You got the Ten of Cups. You're happy. You're doing fine. You're enjoying social times. Whoever you're with, you're happy with them. Single, but you're happy with social atmosphere. With the social atmosphere, if I can spit it out. Now, I feel like you might be cultivating something. Even though you're considering yourself single, there might be somebody you're kind of working on, trying to gearing up to decide whether you want a relationship or not. Especially when the bottom card here, the root of the situation is the Lover's card, which for a love reading, that seems pretty good. That's what everything is based on. Anyway, And when you have that card with actually your base, that means there's something here that you're working on. Now, this person that you're considering, I feel like the fact, this is the past, is the Tower, like the fact that they're even a consideration is maybe came in as a shock. Either you didn't realize that they had an interest, or when your interest kind of peaked or perked up, you didn't realize that you were actually interested. Just all of a sudden, it's just one of those things where all of a sudden you just looked at this person you've known for a while, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I can see myself with this person. I can see that. And I feel like for some of you, one of the reasons the Tower is in the past is because you or this other person, maybe both, found yourself single again and didn't expect to. So there's a lot of different angles here. I know that's a general read, but that seems to come through a few different ways. I feel like the past here is connecting like who's going to actually match with this reading and not, for the most part. Because I feel like for the most part, a lot of you weren't expecting to be looking for a partner again. Now, as we go forward, you have the Two of Wands and you have the Six of Swords, which makes me feel like there's some ties to this person, but you're also considering like maybe this is better to move on from. I feel like you're in between. You might be going back and forth at this point because you're not really committed to the thought, but you're not really looking to let go of it either. You have some ties to this person, which seems to keep pulling you back, but you have some reasoning where you're thinking, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea. You seem to be in the between at this point, but you have the Three of Pentacles in your thoughts, which means you're really giving it serious thought. Is this going to work out? Is this something that you want? And I feel like the reason is because the Lover's card here is at the bottom. I feel like you are noticing more and more that there's an attraction for you towards this person, and there's definitely something pulling you towards them. And maybe them back as well. Okay. Even though this is here, even though that Lover's card is there and you're having that feeling, I notice you have the High Priestess at the top, your overall energy. And you'll notice in this card, the way this one's depicted, her face is just, there's no features. It's just, there's no features. There's just not. Black is a color I've noticed is a color of truth, when somebody tells you the truth. Like, that seems to be it's been my opinion. When you wear black, a lot of black, people tell you the truth. It should be a truth-promoting color, from what I understand. Other people might feel differently, but that's how I feel about it. That being said, I'm feeling like you're trying to be non-biased. You just want to know the truth of like what is the possibility here. How do you match? What is this other person's intention? What is your intention? I feel like you might be even questioning, do you just have a physical interest in this person, or do you have an emotional interest in this person? Or vice versa. Are you emotionally connected to this person where you think they're a good match, but maybe sexually it's not there for you? I feel like you're like being very non-biased, and you're trying to dissect it out and be like, all right, this is how I feel like in this category when it comes to how we get along personally. This is how physically how I see each other. This is how that person's family and my family would possibly get along, or do get along, however it works for you. This is how career-wise we're either same or different, or have compatible or incompatible traits. I feel like you're literally dissecting it out. Because you're analyzing. It feels like you're analyzing, but you're being non-biased, and you're just trying to really be looking at this as like, where can this go? I don't want to just jump into something and be like, well, let's see how it turns out. You're not interested in that. You're dissecting it is what it looks like to me. Okay. That being said, in the future, you have the Eight of Swords with the improving health card. I feel like I don't feel like you're moving on from that thought. Like, I don't feel progression or regression. I wouldn't say it was stagnation. I just feel like you're in the same place still. I feel like this is lasting for a while, where you're just like gathering more information. Do we want to go here? No. There? Yes. Okay. And I have to be honest, I'm seeing it again at the end. You got the Two of Swords, which is not really moving. Well, this is the Two of Swords. Not really moving forward or backing off. but you have also the get more information. You're still gathering information. I think the reason that the improving health card here is showing up is I feel like you're getting positive information about the person you're interested in, but it's not enough to move forward. It's just definitely not enough to move on either. So I feel like you have a more favorable outlook for this person. Like originally you might have had something lacking, whatever department you thought was a little not underdeveloped, or maybe there's a piece here that you weren't sure that was going to stand the test of time. That seems to be more in focus in the future here, and you're seeming a little more optimistic about that, because there was one spot, it seems at least one spot where you were like questioning, like, I don't know if there's any longevity with that part, but that seems to be looking different in the future where you're more comfortable with that, yet you're still not ready to move forward, but you still have enough interest to stay interested. And in the future, you're still getting more information. You're still not ready to make a move. I'm wondering if part of that reason is, because it's the Two of Swords up there, in the environment, there's the Four of Swords with the yes. The Four of Swords is someone who seems to be, like, they're not really free? I don't know. How do we want to say this? It's someone who wants to kind of get up and move out of a situation, yet feels that they can't yet. Almost feels like they're not ready, or they're not feeling like the circumstances around them are allowing them to move forward without possible infringement. So they might be a little bit conflicted whether they can move forward, if like society or things around them are going to be conducive with them moving forward with a possible relationship. They have the yes too, but I think it's the passive. Yeah, it's the passive yes. There's a dominant and a passive one in this deck. The yes with the exclamation is the yes, let's do this. The yes without it is kind of like, this could happen. Like, it's not like a definitely on board, but conducive with the thought. Like, favorable. It's a favorable outlook, but not a definite. I feel like that's why that you're still gathering more information, because this other person doesn't seem like they feel like they're ready to or they're able to just yet. But they do have some interest, but it's kind of at the same level you are. I feel like they're at the same level you are right now, with like how strong the interest is. Like, it's there, they acknowledge that, but it's not enough to like overwhelm them where they have to move forward. But it's still lingering there. And I feel like to get more information that you have here with the Two of Swords, I feel like you got to get to know this person a little more in the sense of what they're thinking. Like, where are they? Like, I feel like if the two of you talk it out, you might come to a conclusion where maybe you'll start some casual dating or just like hanging out a little more. I feel like you might push it to the next level just slightly. But I feel like you're both interested to find out if there really is something there, and maybe a talk between the two of you could solve a few questions between the two of you if things are conducive or they're not. Seems like the other person is on board with you, though, at the level you are. Like, there's enough interest to find out what's going on, but not so much that it's overwhelming and it's just like, I have to be with you. It's just like at a nice, comfortable level. So it seems like you guys need to talk it out honestly, just to decide where you are, and that might be to get more information for you, because I feel like you're both kind of conducive with the same thought. And maybe going forward, this is something that can grow into a very deep love, but it's something the two of you need to work out to decide whether that's something you want to do, or if things around you are conducive with that thought. Okay. I think we're going to stop there. Good. All right. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email. james4astral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.